If someone is manipulating your leadership without you even realizing it, it's because they've learned exactly how you avoid conflict. Manipulation doesn't start with lies, it starts with leverage. So let's have a real conversation about what it's like leading for leaders dealing with difficult people. Now, I'm Brenda Neckvatal, and I help the strongest leaders deal with the messiest people. Now, most leaders think manipulation looks really obvious. It's grandstanding, it's power plays, and it's open defiance. But that's not actually how it shows up. Real manipulation wears the costume of reasonableness. It sounds thoughtful, it looks cooperative, and it feels really helpful until it isn't. So here's how it begins. They come to you privately, not in meetings and not in front of other people. They position themselves as concerned, as helpful as trying to protect the team. They bring just enough truth to sound credible, just enough emotion to feel sincere. And they always frame it as a problem that you need to know about. You listen because it feels responsible. You engage because it feels collaborative. And without realizing it, the frame shifts. Now you're managing information that they control. They drip feed you content and they drip feed you context. They highlight certain details, they omit others. Not enough to lie, just enough to steer. So meanwhile, you're seeing the situation through their lens. And this is where leaders actually start to lose their footing because nothing feels comfortable yet. Nothing feels urgent. Nothing feels wrong enough to stop. So you keep listening. You start making accommodations. You start adjusting your decisions. You're reframing your expectations. And the manipulator, they notice this. They notice what moves you make, and they notice what slows you down. They notice where your discomfort lives. And that's when they start locking patterns in. They begin to position themselves as the reasonable one, the misunderstood one, or even the one that's trying to help. Anyone who challenges them becomes the problem. Anyone who questions the narrative is difficult. They're reactive or even labeled as unfair. And you don't see the shift happening in real time because manipulation doesn't push, it pulls. It pulls your empathy, it pulls your sense of fairness, and it pulls your desire to really be a good leader until suddenly you find yourself explaining behavior you would never have tolerated before. And this is the moment leaders look back and say, I should have seen that sooner. Because now the damage is palpable, it's visible. Team members actually stop trusting decisions and stories don't line up. And you feel the tension, but you can't quite name it. Worst of all, you actually realize too late that you've been operating with incomplete information. Fool you once, fool you twice. And that's when manipulation actually starts to become really expensive because now it's not just about one person, it's about credibility. So when leaders finally step in, it feels abrupt to the team. Like, why are we suddenly doing this now? Like, why is this a direction? Why the change all of a sudden? And the manipulator starts to play the innocent. They act confused, they act hurt, and they act blindsided. And they are masters at this because they're already positioned you as being inconsistent. And this is where it's like a mind warp, right? This is where people get stuck and they get trapped in this, especially the leaders, because if you push, you start to look reactive, and if you pull back, you look really weak. Either way, trust is eroding. But let's be clear about something. Manipulation will only work. Don't miss this. Manipulation will only work when leaders confuse calm with clarity. Calm is emotional. Clarity, that's structural. So calm avoids friction. Clarity names the pattern. Speak it. Say the thing. Call it out. Be straightforward. Because strong leaders, they don't interrogate motives. They anchor the right behavior. They don't argue narratives. They set expectations. And they don't react to stories. They respond to the right patterns. So most leaders never learned how to do this in real time. So they guess. Nobody's taught them that. I never learned how to do this. It took me a lot of trial and error. And guessing gives manipulators room to operate. This is why manipulation feels invisible until it's not, because the time that the leaders feel certain, the ground has already started to shift. Now, every move that you make costs more energy, more explanation, and certainly more repair. And this is exactly why I built my app. It's designed for moments when something feels off, but you really can't articulate why. It's like another type of hidden agenda, right? When conversations start to feel slanted, like information starts to feel really incomplete, and certainly when behavior feels strategic instead of authentic. So the app helps leaders slow down the moment, helps leaders regain clarity, and starts creating a pattern of response without getting pulled into deeper into the game. It's not emotionally, it's not defensively, and it's not blindly, but it's done intentionally. Because manipulation collapses when clarity enters the room. Manipulation stops when all of a sudden you fully have a great vision of what is going on. So let's have a real conversation about what it's like for leaders that are dealing with difficult people. Because you don't need to wait until trust is damaged. You don't need to play detective. You don't need to guess your way through influence games. The link to the app is down below because strong leadership isn't about outplaying people. It's about removing the conditions that allow that manipulation to thrive.